So, we have got a challenge in the economy. And this challenge, you can assign it everywhere in the world, but you live where you are. Where we live is what we talk about. Zimbabwe has been let down by politicians for too long, and specifically, ZANU has to wake up to ensure that the economy works for the people. And have you ever heard of this word, you live in the currency? Which currency are we living in this country? We have now 3, 4, 5 currencies. First, there is the gold coin, there is the RTGS, there is the dollar, the Zimbabwean dollar, then there is other currencies, rand, US, and whatever, multi-currency. Which one do we use to peg our poverty, our inflation? We don't even know which one to use. Number 2, we have actually failed to ensure that we improve our industry. Our industry is dead. Go to the industrial sites and see. Most of the companies are dead. If you want to know a moving economy, you will see activity where people are building, they are renovating, and their products moving up and down. People in Zimbabwe sleep at 6, 7, they are already in bed because of poverty, because of lack of money. And it is the responsibility of government to ensure that people get a certain decent living. On the other hand, Zimbabweans have to also to listen to make sure that their institutions work. It's disappointing that most of the institutions here are almost dead. They are not working for the common good. Hence, we are looking at a terrible economy, terrible governance, and a terrible performance by our institutions. So which corrects the other? In good countries, in other countries, the institutions correct the wrongs of the politicians. They try to correct the wrongs of the politicians. So here, you tell me which institution is correct. Most of them are weak. Go to our courts, go to our schools, go everywhere. Even private sector has gone into the rotten sense. We need to change our attitude. We can only build this country as one. We have to find a way of finding each other and work together and ensure that this economy works. Yes, politics of differences works, but there are minor differences which we should find in politics of how to achieve the greatness and the goodness of the country's economy while we create political, social, and economic goods for our communities.
You said we need to find each other and then to work together in one, for the common good. But it looks like there's a certain group of people which says they are more patriotic than the other. The other one is less patriotic than the other. Yet it looks like we only differ on how to take Zimbabwe forward.
Actually, it's said that we've got a lot of people who are veterans, military, we've got army, we've got those in government, then we've got the opposition. I always use this term that we discovered we are related. But when we talk, each one wants to identify with what they did in the past alone. History helps to note that these steps were taken. But what matters now is people to realize that we are related. This country is for us all. We need to find a way of talking to those who are in power and ensure that they allow simple democracy to take place. It's not only it's not just power of governance. It's power in private companies as well. CEOs, some of the CEOs have been there. They have not allowed enough democracy in their own institutions. Democracy is not voting. Democracy is allowing certain voice and also allowing certain work ethics. Allowing those things to happen and allowing production is part of what we should do. And finding each other here, I'm talking of the opposition should talk to opposition, the ruling party should talk to opposition, And the civic society should talk to everyone who is in politics and correct them. We have got a disaster in this country where when people run with something, they say they are there for so and so. They just run without looking at the mistakes. And those mistakes will accumulate into what we call a slippery slope. Mistakes, which when they get to a slippery slope, there's no stopping. People think it's normal. People lie through their mouths, through their noses. They do all sorts of things. They don't respect society because they think society allows it. It is the duty of our society as well to tell us to stop certain things. And that is quite important. It should tell politicians that go back to your institution. Okay, an example is that political institutions today might be held at ransom by individuals because people believe that that person might do it alone. There is no one person who can do it alone. In Kenya today, Raila is gone, another person is taken over. All what is needed is the institution of KANU to make sure that it puts a leader who has got credibility. And it's also in the opposition to ensure that when they fight, they put best people with credibility who continue with the country. It's not just putting people, it's also looking at their integrity, credibility, and their understanding of statecraft. It is quite difficult to run a country because people who are in leadership need to be tolerant. They need to be tolerant, they need to be inclusive, they need to understand their society. But understanding is not enough. You must deliver the social goods. Today you go to rural areas, you go into town. Everyone has nothing to feed on. And a government cannot smile at that. A government must make sure that these people survive. Yes, we've got challenges world over, climate change. We've got war in Ukraine, and wars have always happened in other countries. But it's not enough. Yes, it might take us down a bit, but we should pursue an agenda of making sure that our currencies work, people have food, people have health care, people are managed properly, and they trust their government. And also we need our institutions, the police, the army, to be trusted by the people. All these things are all written in our books and in our progress, in our understood progress. There was JOMIC which came through. We've thrown it away. We've gone without JOMIC. Today there should have been an organization of political parties meeting and discussing their common differences under one umbrella like JOMIC. It should have continued. Kenya has a similar thing. I don't know. We need that because of the differences and the challenges that have happened in the past. Political challenges, which have been very, very bad. They've injured people. People who have died, and these people need to be looked at and be understood that they must be respected, irrespective of their political opinions.
Looking or comparing the old and the new dispensation, do you think there is much difference in terms of human rights and governance?
Yeah, the first dispensation went mad around that time when the land occupations. I've suffered through it, and it was terrible. People were killed. I don't know. Of late, yes, there have been human rights abuses, but they're not as much as in the first dispensation. From my own observation, I'm saying people talk what they want. Some of them, they do wrong things, and it's not as bad as in the first, especially during the period when there was land invasion. After land invasion, then the 2008 election was terrible. I saw it through. It was the worst ever. And we don't want such an experience in any election again. And also even the currencies went off. There was nothing in the shops. So to compare there's no first and second dispensation to me. It's just some. So it's just terms to find a way of justifying someone being different. But to me, it's one party. And that political party must look into its own internal issues and ensure that it improves the people's lives.